Welcome, everybody. This is episode 7 of the Mount Silver podcast. I am Meelz. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
Yeah.
And I'm here with the smooth criminal himself, Pat. I don't know. I gotta make up. You know what? It's the fact that Jeff has a cool name, and I feel weird of just saying like, and Pat.
Oh, it's okay. That's not bad. It's a little tied to MJ, but it's okay.
All right, we'll work. I'm still workshopping this.
Yeah, it's fine.
We'll work on
it's fine. You got to try things out.
We're gonna workshop. I did Ace Trainer, Cool Trainer last time. We're workshopping this name. I don't know, especially when Sword and Shield comes out. Maybe there'll be a different, maybe you'll be some
new nicknames.
Yeah, there'll definitely be new nicknames. Nonetheless, we are here. This is episode 7. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, you can tune into the rest of the episodes as we're doing our trek to the release of the new games, Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is actually about to drop in less than a month.
Yeah,
my Switch is bricked. I have to send it in.
You gotta get that.
I have to send it in.
Yes, please. It's less than a month. It legitimately drops in like 25 days.
I'll call them today
because we need to make sure that we record some of these battles for the people.
Yeah.
We're gonna do all that stuff. We're gonna do hopefully, the raid battles and all the other things that they've got going on as well. But yes, we're continuing on our trek to the release of Gen 8, that is Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
If you love what we've been doing thus far, or this is your first time here, please check out our previous episodes where we go over Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5. And on this episode that we go
over Detective Pikachu.
Oh, and Detective Pikachu.
That's right.
Don't forget about that. And yeah, I mean, this episode will be more so about Gen 6, the release of Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Whoa, that I felt like I just said that for the first time in like multiple years.
Yeah.
However, we of course have to kick things off. Pokemon Sword and Shield news. General excitement, everybody. What is our excitement? We're like 25 days away from wherever this game is. Is our excitement at a peak? I want to play the game. I really just want to sit down and play.
Where's the gameplay footage? The marketing has been bad. I don't want to prejudge the game, but the marketing has not been good.
So I feel like, in terms of the gameplay footage, there is some, especially some recently. They recently released like an embargo on who can actually talk about the game and things like that. Like, when they have people play the game and to give their thoughts, and then they're like, oh, now here's our first look, here's our first review. And I think a couple YouTubers do have some new gameplay, while it's nothing like truly like anything really that we haven't really seen thus far. I mean, I think if you read the information about the game, or if you listen to this podcast, you kind of know how the beginning of the game goes. But yeah, I don't think there's anything truly significant. I think they're banking on that this game is incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah.
There are various Pokemon. Probably the most interesting thing for me right now is looking up what the wild area is, which is a very it's an open area with various leveled Pokemon that you can access.
They're keeping that one pretty quiet too.
Yeah, because that one you can access pretty early in the game. It's a sizable part of the actual what's this region called? Galar region itself.
There's just things in there that you can't really mess with early. Like you can attempt to, but it may knock you off course.
And even in sort of the reviews from all these different things, they're like, we can only tell you about these part of things that we know, but like pretty much sort of the wild area, you can go in, you can catch Pokemon of your level, you can catch Pokemon level 50, even if you're starting off still at level 6, you can catch Pokemon that are level 50, if you can, or else they will mercilessly
right. It's gonna make the player make some type of decisions, but either way, I mean, even if you catch
first time, you can actually die.
It's not like you can it's not like you can use them. You know what I mean? So you can catch them all you want. So I don't think it's gonna affect too many players from trying.
There are various areas with various biomes. If you know, I think biomes became. The only reason Pokemon and biomes I've heard was Pokemon Go. But of various biomes, so there would be like a snow one or a nature one or a desert one or something along those lines. You can catch various types of Pokemon in those type of areas. So to me, the wild area seems very interesting. I hope you can do something. Oh, that's where you can camp as well and all the other stuff that you don't really want to do in this game. But but it looks pretty interesting thus far. And then we've got some new news over the last month or so, and we're still, gearing up for some news that are coming up. I call this one the 24-hour con, and I say this because Pokemon decided we're going to reveal some new news by having a 24-hour live stream of a screen.
Yeah.
In the what forest is it? It's it's like the nature something forest.
One of the big forests in this.
Yeah, the big forest in the game. That's actually, I think it's relatively early in the game. Nonetheless, they had pretty much people watching this stream for hours on hours, including me. I just had it on in the background. Watching it. I didn't see anything of notable, but then the internet, of course, seems, and this is kind of the thing that's really why I call it a con. Like, you didn't really have to watch it for the internet to report it and let you know what you missed. And pretty much only 7 minutes of it was useful. And that was like, okay, so we're getting this Pokemon in the game. The whole entire mystery surrounding the release of this game is like, which Pokemon are we actually getting, considering that everyone's not in the game?
Right.
So I think they had Phantump, which is in Pokemon X and Y, that we'll talk about later today. They had a couple other things. I think there was a Skitty. No, I don't think it was a Skitty. I think we just mistake. But anyway, the reveal of this ended up being Galarian Ponyta.
Yeah.
Galarian Ponyta. First thoughts, my people. What are we thinking of this thus far?
It's cute. It's really cute.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
What's the typing on it?
It's psychic. It's psychic. Now
they should have. It's not, the pink is fairy. They should have made it dark purplish for psychic.
I was telling Meelz when it was kind of coming out what it was. We obviously considered, we thought it was fairy, but we haven't seen Rapidash yet. I'm curious. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. The leak said that it has wings. It's an omnicorn. So apparently, I don't know if they're going to go psychic flying, if they're going to go psychic fairy, or if it's just going to stay psychic.
The psychic thing is disappointing to me, albeit it is what it is. But the psychic thing, because
it feels like a cop out.
I personally don't care, and that's only because it's Ponyta. I got it now. If Rapidash ends up staying psychic, I'll be a little aggravated by it. But it being a Ponyta, I personally don't mind. But I want to see what this Rapidash is going to end up being.
They need to make Rapidash like a fairy dragon and give it some scales. Let me design these games.
Maybe they'll have a split evolution. I don't know, but it seems weird that it was psychic. Not weird that it's psychic. They can kind of do whatever they want at this point in the game. But the thing is, the psychic type really had its shine in Generation 1. And ever since Generation 2, it has just been mauled in.
But that could be the point, though. They may be like, you know what, we got to put some depth into it again and give it some strength.
Who is the flagship fairy type Pokemon?
I mean, they ended up changing. For me,
Sylveon?
I'm gonna say it's probably like Sylveon or one of the rechanges, like a Clefairy at that point.
Yeah, unacceptable.
But
yeah, I would say Sylveon just because it's a pure fairy type.
Yeah,
was the first fairy type introduced, and then they're like, oh, also changing the fairy type. These guys.
I get retconning some of it makes sense, but come on, they haven't done it justice.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure there'll be other fairies in this generation that were there. Just
and I think it's because the fairy type was introduced in this generation that we're going to talk about, and it's spoiler for people who want to know what we think. Go ahead. This generation to us wasn't very spectacular, albeit the major introduction of fairy types, which kind of reshapes the entire game. But yeah, I mean, Ponyta, Galarian Ponyta. It says, Galarian Ponyta has been found in the forests of the Galar region since ancient times. It is said they were exposed to the overflowing life energy of the forest over many generations, and this is why their appearance became unique to its generation.
As opposed to the ununique appearance of a horse on fire.
Yes,
Right.
of course. Horse on fire. I mean, still pretty cool. I think.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what?
Visually, their original Ponyta is still beautiful. Rapidash original is still beautiful, but I this one's very cute. And the crazy thing was like when I was looking at just the visually what it looks like, and I saw like the black horn. I remember like texting Meelz like, maybe this thing has some dark characteristic. Maybe it's like dark and fairy. I was thinking it was gonna be like a dark and fairy type thing because
if there was a dark type like if there is a split evolution and you could get a dark Ponyta, like an evil looking one, oh my god, that would be fucking
hard.
so
It
sick.
would be hard because Pokemon they like to visually give you the typing based off colors and different things like that. So I'm thinking, oh, it has a black horn. Maybe there's like something to it. I don't know.
Okay, so this one reminds me of the Alolan Vulpix and Ninetales a little bit. Where Vulpix, I say, was like my first favorite Pokemon. So much so that I use it even though it's not especially good, and I actually like keeping it instead of evolving it into a Ninetales, which is like the stupidest thing ever. No, but I thought they did a pretty good job of. It's not quite as cool, the ice version, but that
it had resources.
Yeah, it was cool, and it felt like they were justified making an alt region version of it. And I'd say
beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Really,
really good looking.
And this one seems pretty like it's an easy comparison because it's like, a fire type to a new type, but it seems I think they did a good job.
I feel like a lot of the region switches are okay. Like I wasn't even mad at Rattata and all that shit back in, when they announced that, but like my thing was, if you're going to, specific Pokemon being in a different region, looking different, it obviously makes sense.
It took them obviously a little too long to get to it.
Here's my issue, bro. And I don't know. I hope they change it this time around. But like, they made them keep their same stats last time, and I didn't really understand
same
that.
Base stats as their regular versions.
Yeah, I don't like that. For me, it's like,
especially if they're changing typing.
Exactly. It's like you need to benefit the Pokemon.
One needs you're saying one needs to be like if one is stronger than the other and or weaker than the other needs to happen instead of kind of like
just
reshuffling, like taking off 10 of attack and then putting in special attack or something. Like just give them 10 attack.
Give them some attack. Yeah, restructure the mistakes.
It's a psychic type. It's different now.
If you're remodeling your house, don't just do the fucking outside.
Yeah, like do your fucking house. So change up what you can, make it unique, or the flaws that people may have saw in them before. I think like fixing things like the Farfetch thing. People generally like Farfetch as a Pokemon, but it never got.
This is true.
It never got enough. Like it's one of those Pokemon like, oh, Farfetch needs more. I think we've been talking about Farfetch getting an evolution since from the start. So like they did it. It looks like they did it right. It probably got a substantial boost in its evolution, but like. For me, and also another weird thing is like there's no Galarian Farfetch. It's just Farfetch, and he evolves into Surfetch in this region.
Yeah,
because of the battles and
the harsh reality of
Galarian. That's Zigzagoon. There's no harsh reality.
Right. And no, and for me, like it's gotta have some type of substantial stat change.
I see what you're saying.
I like Alolan Sand Slash. I think it's awesome. Like I love the way that they did it. I think it's so cool.
I feel you.
But it doesn't stand a chance.
But I also think, I agree. I also think, I don't know, because when you start making one version stronger than the other, it kind of takes away from the original version.
I know, bro, but I don't necessarily mean making it stronger. I'm just saying like flip a quality. Just flip a quality about it. Defensively, special defense, special attack. Just flip the quality. I mean, they could both still have their ups and downs of like what they do competitively, but just give it some type of personality, just from a different, they can have the same base stats, but I don't know, swap their defense and attack, I don't know, and just make it unique.
This is true. Well, you know what? When this evolves into Lady Rainicorn from Adventure Time,
I'm all here. I'm sure it's gonna be. I mean, it's a Shield exclusive, right?
It is a Shield exclusive. So
I haven't figured out what like. I got the double pack, which I found out today comes with a cool coin. from Best Buy, but
Best Buy always loves they love coins.
They love coins. They love coins. But like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be playing Shield, so I don't know. But it's cute. It's super cute. First of all, I mean, you can't even like nobody can deny that. But I want to see Rapidash, and I want to see its typing.
Are we going physical or digital for the game?
I always go physical.
I'm going physical for Nintendo games. I always get physical because they hold so much value.
They reveal that it's 10.3 gigabytes for this game.
Like, I can't be. I mean, even like on PS4. I mean, I don't play the PlayStation nearly as much as I'd like. I think the last game I bought was Sekiro, which was like April or something. Mm-hmm. But I like Amazon delivers day of. I don't need to play it at the midnight release, and I'm always so worried about it taking up space. And the download time, it's insane. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm old.
No. I mean, I feel you, bro. For me, it's more of like I said, like Nintendo games usually hold really good value. So like,
yeah,
I don't mind buying physical copies of Nintendo games because they're never on sale. You know, like they don't lose any value. And then this game,
it's all IP. So
it's all IP. And in 10 years, this game is going to be worth however much money, you know, because whatever new is out. So it's one of those things. I think it's preference to PlayStation. I buy a lot of digital now. So
is it weird that I have an anxiety about pre-ordering games because I want it to be available as soon as the store opens, but I don't want it to be like available like at 3 p.m. or like 7 p.m. I don't know. I'm weird.
To be honest, you're in New York. There's definitely going to be GameStops and people doing midnight.
Oh yeah, there's a GameStop like 5 blocks away from my house. Will it be open at midnight?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they will. Crime.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do a midnight release for that.
Yeah, they're gonna do like a whole party. I would do
that's what they did with this game that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I need
the line for adults where you're like, this is if you just want to get in and get the game kind of undercover, do that.
But dude, listen. When I was at GameStop and we did releases, they were there like adults. You know, a lot more times than kids. So they're gonna be there.
Yeah, I mean,
Meelz, you have a Pokemon Center, so come on.
I mean, if you want to, is this a Pokemon Center? It's the Nintendo store.
I thought there was a center.
It's not a legit center.
Oh,
they have like a section, I think, in the store.
Yeah,
weak.
It's like America needs a Pokemon Center. Like,
this is true. Also, when you go there, and eventually when you go there, you're gonna realize it's not really that impressive. The
Nintendo store or the center?
The Nintendo store. There is no center.
No, that's what I mean. I was like, well, what center have you been to?
Well, the center in the store. No, it's a Pokemon Center in the store, but it's not really like.
No, like Japan has like actual Poke Centers.
Yeah,
Well, no, it's like the Wells Fargo that's inside of like the grocery store. Like, is this
Starbucks in the Kroger?
Yeah,
that's exactly how it is. But that is that. There's a few new mechanics about the game that I think we can judge whether we're excited about. Autosave.
Hell yes! Thank God. God.
Finally. How far? How long does autosave?
Listen, though, the autosave feature is like. If you're playing the Switch, it really doesn't matter anyways because you can just turn your Switch off and turn it back on whenever you desire.
It's true.
Just don't let it die. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's cool. It's cool that they added it, but like now on Now's games, you can put games on standby and the game don't go nowhere anymore.
That's true. I will say I've probably stopped and saved Pokemon games needlessly more than any other game ever. Take 2 steps. Like, did I just save? I better save.
Yeah, let me save it again. And then you can press start and see where your tag was. You can see that it was on the little save.
Yeah.
You still do it.
Oh my God. That is so funny. HMs not back in the game. They're gone hopefully forever. So no HMs.
Yeah, fine. After this game, they probably won't even have to announce that anymore. It'll just be like not a thing.
Controversial. XP shares automatic. Everyone is just going to get experience no matter whether they participate or not. It's legitimately the group project theorem. Everyone gets the credit whether they actually did nothing or anything.
I don't mind. I mean,
it's kind of inevitable.
They're on my team, so they deserve it.
Has it not? It feels like it's been like this for years anyway. I don't like it, but. It's how it is. It's like the experience share has been the biggest aspect of nerfing that they've done to the whole game. And
agree.
the fact that they just made it apply automatically kind of sucks, but it's not like I was aggressive about turning it off in
You just dealt
in
with
the
it.
game anyway. So
They said that I was reading, one of the users who got to play certain, like you said, Meelz, they couldn't talk about everything, but they said that there's more higher level Pokemon just throughout the whole process. Like you're going to run into more difficult situations.
That's good.
That may have something to do with it. I'm thinking maybe
make the game harder.
Yeah.
There we are. There'll be 18 gyms. They have not said, but I mean,
they spoke about that though.
Talk about it.
Because it had to be corrected because I think it was Game Informer who had the big. Basically, there's from what they're saying, there's it's like a minor and a major league. So like 8 minor league type gyms and then 8 major.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that so like it's not really. I mean, it is that many gyms, but it's it's just more stuff to do ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how they're fitting this all in this damn little region that I'm seeing right here.
I think the region is bigger than what it like.
Oh, the region is pretty huge, actually. No,
the forest is like in the far left corner. So I don't know. It looks pretty big to me, but what the maps are always, you get the game and you're like, okay, this is a little more massive than I anticipated because the maps are very like cartoonish structured. Like you don't really, you can't really tell how big it is. It doesn't look like that many towns.
The Galar region is so. This is so.
Meelz, let me ask you something. How often do you look at a map of planet Earth and think, yeah, that's what it looks like?
I think it's gonna be much bigger than like. I think this is a big game. Like I think it's a much more massive game.
So weak.
especially when they the 10 gigabytes for a digital download. I think it's a pretty big game.
10 gigabytes.
I know,
for the Switch, which I mean,
you just overnight, you're just whatever, man.
Like Meelz, like just in case, Meelz, like when you get your Switch, you may want to get an SD little card just for shits and gigs. Like I got one just for but I didn't end up needing it that much. I don't know how much you're going to be playing yours besides Pokemon. So
I'll try to figure some other stuff out.
You gotta get Hollow Knight Meelz.
Yeah, you can get like Hollow Knight, like the Mario Karts. Just
I don't want to just buy this game and just have it be my official Pokemon system.
I'm gonna get you. I'll get you Let's Go for Christmas, and then you can have fun with that here and there too.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, the Galar region
Secret Santa or not, how I get down.
Oh, okay, all right. The Galar region to me is so weirdly the geography. The fact that it's just a straight line to me is so.
Yeah, but that's not how it's gonna feel though.
Well, it's like how do people?
Bro, come on, man. You know how it is.
It's from front to back.
It's a map,
we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's better than
the water's all on the sides, so we don't have to worry about
Kalos region, which is shaped like a star, and it's just in the center. But we'll talk about all about that. Last thing about Pokemon Sword and Shield, the Gigantamax Pokemon. More Gigantamax Pokemon have been revealed. We've got Charizard, we have got Butterfree, we have got Eevee, we have got Pikachu, we have got Meowth.
Yeah.
Something crazy about all those Pokemon.
We can move on.
I can't put my finger on it.
I mean, we can move on from this. We don't even really have to talk about this. I feel we
are not fans.
I feel like it's just a gimmick.
Of course. The gimmicks start in this generation. I keep talking about the Gen 6 thing, but the gimmicks start here.
But bro, and visually, like I'm not a fan of giant Pokemon. Like it just doesn't. I told Meelz a week ago, like I'm just not a fan of giant Pokemon. Even if you change,
it's so stupid.
Yeah, even if you change their appearance to me, it doesn't make sense to me. But like. Whatever the outcome is for it, I know, it'll be the hidden ability or, a specific type of items. I'm sure there's going to be an incentive to doing it, but that doesn't mean I want to. And, it'll be a good chance to fight one with you guys. But as far as me doing it, I don't really care unless I'm going for a specific, ability from the Pokemon that they have, whatever. That's the only way I'll be really doing it like that. I don't really see. I'll run on there with you guys and take one out, for whatever the reward is. But giant Pokemon is I feel like it's probably visually pleasing on the anime, but for the game, it's just another overpowered thing. Like I just bring megas back and like call it a day. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
Megas were so good; they made sense. It wasn't corny. You know, before Giant, I would prefer Fusion.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I was like, "What?" I'm so surprised that Fusion's a thing before they decided to go all in out on Giant Pokemon.
But yeah, no, I'm honestly like they should have just did fusions before any of this. I feel like Giant Pokemon should have really we shouldn't even got to this point. But the game's not out. I don't know how it feels. I don't know how it really is. But just visually looking at it, I have no care for that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. And we're not the only ones. You know, I think it's just fans are going to understand that it's just another thing that they want you to deal with that's new. And they may probably do it for just this game, and then we'll never see it again. You know,
let's hope so. I mean, you know,
we'll see. It could be enjoyable, but we're just going based on what we see right now. I don't know.
I've got.
I'd love to be wrong.
I'd love to be wrong about this. Yeah, it would be dope if it ended up being like, oh, this is actually
guys. We're never wrong.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're never wrong. But that's Pokemon Sword and Shield news. Again, it comes out on November 15th. So you got less than a month to either pre-order it or figure out what you're going to do with your life, figure out how you're going to work your way through Thanksgiving without having to speak to people.
If you want the best deal or you want both games, just get it from Best Buy. They got the double pack. If you're just getting one game, I think Amazon's probably your best bet.
I gotta pre-order mine like now, actually.
Yeah.
I should probably do that too.
The Best Buy version is $100, so you're saving a little bit of money for both. Because you get both games, which are going to be $60 games for
$60 for a Pokemon game. Actually, pretty cheap.
I know, right? Yeah, or 100 for both. 100 for both. So that's what I ended up doing, just because I was like, well, you know.
There you go.
Wait, Luigi's Mansion 3. What was 2 on the Wii?
2 was on the Wii U.
Did you guys play the first one?
I played the first one. I didn't play 2.
I loved the first one, except that it was like 4 hours long.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion is the old one is really, you know, that's good times. Oh, you know what? I'm lying to you, bro. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Was it Dark Moon? Dark Moon was 3DS.
Okay, because the only one I played was the GameCube one.
Yeah, that was the first one. That was the first one. The second one came out on 3DS.
That's so weird.
Yeah, but 3DS was like hitting at this time. This was 2013, 2012. Like they were still.
Yeah, the 3DS hit way more than the Wii U did.
Yeah.
I gotta play Link's Awakening, the remake.
I
too.
know.
I gotta get this thing fixed. God damn.
I want that shit.
Whew. All right.
Meelz, you got to get a Switch.
I'm gonna get a Switch. This is just what is going to happen. I'll make sure everyone knows that I got a Switch. We're approaching this dangerously close to this game. Mm-hmm. I just won't put danger because it sounded cool.
No, it is dangerously close because what if it's not good?
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of not good, let's begin our review on Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y, the Gen 6 games of this Pokemon series. Released in, the year of 2013, the year where, Miley Cyrus and Daft Punk were ruling the world, the year where, what else happened in 2013?
R.I.P. Michael Bublé's marriage. Jesus Christ, not Michael Bublé.
Who got divorced in 2013?
It was, Robin Thicke. Why did I say Michael Bublé?
Robin Thicke.
It was you got to cut the Michael Bublé part for me, Meelz. I sound like a fucking idiot.
He made a whole album.
That's okay.
It was
Michael Bublé,
the
classic
Paula,
Christmas album.
Paula, the album.
Paula, the album.
No sense.
He became a wife guy before it was a thing.
It's
the lawsuit. I mean,
he had some rough. His dad passed like a year or two after that, didn't he?
Did Alan Thicke die?
Yes.
Oh man. R.I.P.
Yeah, dude.
R.I.P. Listen, so many things from 2013.
And X and Y.
Yeah, and Pokemon X and Y.
George Zimmerman. All this other type of things.
Jesus Christ.
I know, right?
Taking us back down to earth with that one.
Yeah. And here comes Pokemon X and Y.
Pokemon X and Y.
It was released on October 12th, 2013, the first ever worldwide release of a Pokemon game.
Important.
October,
we talk about the
that means
stuff.
that is 2030. That's 6 years and 1 week ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just recently, it was the anniversary of the game, but yeah, worldwide release of the game.
Important stuff.
Big deal. I remember they had parties for this thing. All over. I don't know if it was all over the United States or just in New York. I remember there was legitimately like a party in New York.
No, it was a big deal. This was the first, everybody got the game at the same time.
Midnight release type of deal.
I think that's why when we talk about this game and like the bad things about it, they are bad, and like the game itself is not incredibly enjoyable. But like the purpose of it is it's extensive. Like I feel like the things that happen in this game were important for the franchise, even though the game wasn't great.
I'll say that I won't say the game was bad. I'll say that it wasn't great, which makes it kind of bad for me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It makes it less when Pokemon games aren't enjoyable to me. It's like the worst thing on earth because it's like, damn, I'm really like I get hyped for this game every 4 years.
I did not enjoy it. Actually, it's just
I think I played.
Let's talk about the experience with the game. You guys purchased it.
I was really happy it came out. October 12th was a Saturday. I just looked at this, and that was really good. I just started working on Shameless at the time, and so I was working like 12-hour days during the week. So I wouldn't have been able to play it at all. So thank God for the worldwide Saturday release.
Wow.
I was working at GameStop when this came out.
Holy crap. Wait, so how was that?
Yeah, this is like a very exclusive POV.
So, I'm about to shut this shit down. So at this time, let me tell you, I had a good time with X and Y just from a pure Pokemon playing standpoint. I had just got back into competitive for it. I love the idea of Omegas, which we'll get into. Of course, it was a new gen, so that was favorable, new typing. But I worked at GameStop. Also, one thing I wanted to talk about is like the Pokebank and all that fun shit. Working at GameStop had its perks because there was times where I was on some real Team Rocket shit. So I would, and I don't work there anymore. I don't work there anymore. So fuck them. And I'm actually extremely happy you guys are going out of business. So
wait, are they really?
They don't have much time left, but
they sell Funko Pops now. So
right. It's GameStop is damn near a Pokemon Center in itself almost.
They I feel like sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
Jeff,
fine.
Like they basically exist to like prey on parents and grandparents who don't know that they just get the game on Amazon.
I was ripping people off every day, but anyways, so when Pokebank dropped, people would come in, they would return, when they traded in their games, I would take all their shit off their games before putting it back on the show, bro. Like,
oh, that's a good strategy.
Yes, bro. Cause I had my 3, I would bring my 3DS to work. And if somebody would trade in a game, I could just put their game in to my cartridge and take all their shit off their Pokebank and put it on mine.
That's so epic.
And that's what I did.
And Team Rocket shit. I didn't get it before,
bro.
This is so much more successful than Team Rocket ever was.
Yo, I had a really good time. Like my Pokebank still to this day is stacked because I would go in their case, even on days where I was slow. I would open up a case and just like take everybody's shit, put it on my bank. And move on. Yeah, like for real.
I love this being described as having a good time.
I had a good time. I had a good time with X and Y because I had a lot of options and it was fun because I was into it competitively. But the game itself, though, like going through the badges, all that shit, the 70 some odd Pokemon that they gave us because I think Megas was just so it's such a big deal. And they tried to win us over with just that. And making the game visually different and bigger and exciting. I think it was just a skeleton for future games, and that was the importance of it. But like, I didn't enjoy X and Y. I liked the story, like the crazy shit that happened. That was kind of like dark. That was probably the one thing about like the ending was kind of cool to me. But other than that, it's just a skeleton of a Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's true.
That's my story about how I used to Team Rocket motherfuckers games. You trade your game into me, I took everything off of it, so they had good use.
That's actually like, I mean,
It's diabolical, but also
it
like,
might be
why
justifying
Is
your
that not smart?
criminality, but it was a good
smart as
it was
hell.
good that you did that.
I wasn't stealing. The game was already the company's at that point.
not?
I didn't take the game. I just took the Pokemon off the game and then put the game back.
The value, you were not decreasing
here's
value by taking
exactly.
the Pokemon
They
off.
were going to start over the game when they bought it anyways.
Here's the thing. On a level of like, out of all, and I have several friends who have worked at GameStop. That includes you. I think that includes Justin as well.
Yeah, J5 did used to work at GameStop. So.
That includes a ton of friends. On a scale of like 1 to like GameStop corruption 10, this is still like a 6.
Bro, I was going in. But I've heard worse.
Also, listen, if you can, anyone listening can quote me as saying this. If you work for a major corporation in the United States, you should steal from them as much as you possibly can. Steal whether it's time, physical objects, money. If you can get away with stealing from a corporation, you should absolutely be doing it.
They're already stealing from you.
Yeah, they're stealing from you already.
But yeah, man, GameStop, man. Good luck in your future endeavors. But I did what I had to do.
So my story with this game was I did not buy this game. I did not buy the Nintendo 3DS at the time. So my best friend Brian, he bought the 3DS and he bought this game because he was like, "Oh, this looks cool. I want to play it." And I said, "That's awesome." Until about he beat the game and then he says, "I don't want to play this anymore. It's not fun. It's kind of actually whack." And I said, "Okay, if you don't want to play it, let me play it. Let me hold your 3DS and your game and let me play through this entire game."
Right.
And he said, "Fine." He said, "Cool." And that's legitimately how I played this game until he decided he wanted to sell me the thing. And I was like, "I'm not sold on this game nor the 3DS." He was like, "I give it to you for like $100 or something." I was like, "Nah, I'm good."
Wow, you should definitely have taken that deal.
I
know, right?
I was in a different place. I was not as readily employed to be taking things at that time. So I was just like, you know what? No. But I had fun with the
No, but thank you for letting me use it for free for a very long time.
But eventually, and then I was like, when I was financially like enough to be like, all right, let me buy this off of him. He already sold the game. He sold the game. He sold the cartridge. He sold everything. He didn't want to play it anymore. This was legitimately an inquisitive buy for him, and he just like, you know what? It wasn't fun. I don't like it. Let me get my money back and probably spend on sneakers. But to me, Pokemon X and Y, the development, well, let's get through all the little factoids before we get all through all this thing. The development of this game started in 2010, 3 months before the release of Pokemon Black and White, which makes sense because the 3DS had already been launching and or about to launch or something along those lines, and we were wondering why Black and White wasn't for the 3DS but was for the regular DS, even though the 3DS had launched.
Also,
they always do that.
You don't need a 3DS for Pokemon games. It was never.
I didn't love the 3D.
No,
I mean, I didn't love the 3D. It was just pointless.
It hurt my eyes. Yeah,
there were some 3D moments, in cutscenes on X and Y, but it really was pointless.
But the technology for 3D is like, it was cool in like 1987, but like in 2010, it's
even
like
like the mainstream movies that get released in 3D. I tried to not see them.
Yeah,
in 3D.
It's no, that ain't happening. I'm not paying movie theater money for 3D films.
Yeah, the Switch is a much better gimmick.
IMAX me.
Was. Required 500 people from the creation of this game, more than any other games, due to the the 3D models and everything that they're sort of creating for this game. A lot of the the customization of various things in the game, etc., etc. The game's name, Pokemon X and Y, is the first one to stray away from colors. In an interview with Junichi Masuda, he says in terms of the name X and Y, it represents the X and the Y axis, different forms of thinking. They
ran out of colors.
They ran out of colors. I don't buy this explanation, but
I don't buy it either. I just think that they're like,
it's a cool look.
We don't want to use the colors for this game. That's all I had to say. Like,
it's a cool look. Pokemon was going to reveal. I think it was going to get to the X something eventually. He says the world holds people with all sorts of thinking, and you can get the sense that they all exist in different dimensions. But if you think of them as people who are on the x-axis and people on the y-axis, then they intersect somewhere. I was like, that was cute, but also
it's Pokemon, dude.
Yeah, it's Pokemon. It's not that necessary. Also, when you get to the story of the game, none of that makes sense. The 3D sprites. Okay, so 3D. We're in 3D, 3D sprites, 3D everything, customization. It's customization, kind of. It's like, all right, you get to change your skin color and your eye color, but
one of the reasons for this game being important to the Pokemon franchise. I'm still down for that. Like, I'm not going to stray away from that. Like, it's important for specific reasons. It's just, regardless of it was very, surface level stuff.
It was OD surface level.
It was.
Like, they got like big heads and hips and all this other shit.
Look at the
terrible genes.
Look at where we're at though with Sword and Shield. We wouldn't have this type of situation without X and Y. So
no, they hooked it up for Sword and Shield, and I even think in Sun and Moon in a sense.
Yeah, they even got better in there. Yeah,
they hooked it up because when you look at X and Y now, you're like, what the fuck was I playing?
Yeah. But very service levels.
Back then, it was it was historic. It was the first time we're getting taken out of 2D sprites. Now we can move in 8 different directions as opposed to 4. A complete world of difference. And even now, a world of difference. You look at Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like now we're getting like fits off and everything like that. Like, it was about time to be able to customize something instead of running around in the same outfit with like.
Yeah,
including a jacket.
I love that they understand that we want proper fashion.
But I think you know what? I think though that was like a Nintendo call because it seemed like with the 3DS and like remember the Wii people and like the Switch, and they want everyone to kind of have their own profile and have their own customization type of thing.
Right.
I really think that was kind of like a mandate from Nintendo. It's like, listen,
and I mean they're also making clothes in real life that are the same clothes on the game. So they probably it's all. I mean, ultimately, it's all marketing, in the end of it, especially for Sword and Shield. But this shit had like, I was a black kid, but I wasn't a black kid. Like,
of course not with the hair. No, of course not. But here in this game, I mean, in Sword and Shield, if you look at customize, you're able to have Caesar, some braids,
it's going down.
Some other stuff. You can do all types of weird shit with your hair.
There's nothing better than proper customization for a personal character in any video game. It make everybody, as human beings, everybody wants to feel like they're in their game. Even if you can't get your face scan or whatever the case may be, but like if you have a character that you design that looks different from everybody else, it gives you a sense of entitlement, and everybody wants that. So it's important.
Let's see what we've got here. All right, so the setting of this game takes place in the Kalos region, and this is more so also notable because it's, after the Unova region, which was based in New York, they decided, hey, we're going to base this on France. So, oui, bonjour. France, the Kalos region. I honestly don't remember much about the Kalos region except for Lumio City, which was the center and had the Eiffel Tower looking jazz.
It's that that city is beautiful, but it's structured awful. I mean, it's an awful like.
Again,
there was like power out. Yeah, there was like power out in like half the city for most of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I hate going back to this, but the game it just feels like the game was not made to be for X and Y, but they had to do it. It's like, the food places, the clothing places, the cut your fur fruit places, like like that, which is cool stuff. Like it's cool little fun stuff, but it wasn't gigantic enough for people to be like, I'm gonna go do this. For me, I want to be able, going back to Sword and Shield, I want to be able to go into my city and do a bunch of random things that doesn't necessarily involve battling per se, and enjoy it though. Like, you know what I mean? Not like, oh, I got to go.
Enjoying it is key.
Yeah, not like, oh, I got to go do this because they want me to customize, give my Pokemon a bow, or let it be something cool. Like, you know what? Maybe I will put this fucking dope ass T-shirt on my Pikachu or whatever. I don't know. Whatever they're gonna, I'm just saying, whatever it ends up being, let it be something that makes sense.
I think they need to stop making towns for the sake of having towns. And really, every town should have a justifiable purpose within this game. And not just like a town is, this is the town where the move deleter is. Or like, this is the town where the daycare center is.
Yeah. How
Like,
come there's not one? Like, put a fucking daycare in every town. Like, why the fuck does this guy gotta travel? Why the fuck does he have to travel to this one town in the middle of the region to go?
Really hard to get a daycare license.
Bruh.
Yeah.
You telling
The
me
government keeps them on a tight leash because they don't want to let all this breeding everywhere.
I'm saying, dude, but wouldn't it be convenient? I mean, you would think. Honestly, to be honest, like the breeder at this point should just be fucking attached to the Pokemon Center.
Right.
Like, call it a day. Like, what are we really doing?
I mean, considering, Gen 1 is just special to us in general, but you look at things like Lavender Town, which has a story behind it, which something that you remember, the music you remember, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Celadon City, it's a shopping town.
Yeah.
You
knew what you were getting into when you pulled in.
Yeah, but here, I think because this game has followed a similar format for as long as you did, and then they end up shifting away from the format in this gen, and we'll figure out how we feel about that. But because the game has followed a similar format, it doesn't really feel like any of the towns are special. They just kind of, mold together. You kind of walk through the game and like, oh, this is the Celadon City town in this game.
It would be hard to find in like the rest of, like if you took the towns from Gen 1 and Gen 2 and then the towns from all the other generations, you'd have a hard time cobbling together a list of memorable towns compared to the first two generations. From the other.
Quite honestly, you first of all, I don't know how to pronounce most of these things, unless you watch the anime. Now, the anime is the anime is an investment, but if you want every if
you're an obsessive.
Yeah, if you want the story behind the town, a lot of different things, and I actually think the anime for X and Y was really, really well.
It was. They had good intentions, but it fell short from a story perspective,
as it always does. And
it always does.
Do an anime episode somewhere down the line, but yeah, it's it's just towns. Lumio City, though, that's kind of the thing. The place where the giant weapon shows up, that's the thing. But I'm sure there are more beautiful places in here, but I don't remember them just because it's just all kind of a similar sort of format, and it's just something different.
There's something I want to get into about this game.
Talk about it.
And it's something that I hope that they don't do in Sword and Shield, and that's Central, Coastal, and Mountain. And these separate Pokédexes for a specific type of.
Oh yeah,
drove me up a fucking wall.
I plead
the Pokédex is confusing enough as it is.
It's already confusing as it is because first of all, they would have just give me the region Pokédex.
Yeah, I don't care about unlocking a larger Poké. What the fuck is?
I don't care, and I also don't care where Pidgey sits in the Kalos region in a Pokédex. Okay, I'm not here to catch a Pidgey.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Having a central Kalos Pokédex,
Kalos,
a central Kalos Pokédex, a central coastal mountain. It was too much for me.
Yeah, it was a little bit much considering there was only 72 new Pokemon. So it's now you're just
how do we need to section these off?
Right. and the other thing, and I think this is a perfect way to kind of get into these starters is if you didn't know what was really going on, I feel bad for anybody who thought that they were gonna get something incredible out of picking anything but Froakie, but I apologize. I want to apologize to Pokemon fans around the world because fucking Chestnut and Delphinx are just awful.
Let's get into the conversation on starters, or at least the Pokemon of this gen, just in general. So as we've talked about all over this episode, 72 new Pokemon are released in this game. It's the smallest amount of new Pokemon at least that are released into this game, and then you find out most of the slots will end up taken up by Megas and all the other cool shit that they put in the game. Mm-hmm. However, the starters, yes, you were sadly mistaken if you chose anything but Froakie.
Greninja is generational talent. Greninja is very, 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 very good. And
it's just, and then it
they
gets
got
a
lucky.
new form.
They got lucky, bro.
We'll talk about it next.
They
That's
got
the next game.
They got so lucky getting Greninja right. Because if Greninja would have been wrong, or the third water starter would have been wrong, I mean, we could be talking way less. We could be talking way more shit about this game. Greninja worked out so well from an anime perspective.
It became like the mascot of the series.
It worked.
It really became one of the mascots of the series.
Amazing to me.
He's one of the only memorable Pokemon from the entire thing.
He is, but like I'm not so down on this gen as far as like, and I guess because a lot of like competitive Pokemon came from this generation.
Yeah, there's some
hold
good
off
stuff
on that. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that.
But yeah, there's some good stuff, but the starters are not.
No.
And they don't have a great track record overall on starters, and that's like one of the weakest aspects of the entire series to me.
Yeah, because if these are the companions you're gonna travel with through the entire game, and you have to really make a decision.
Yeah, and it's like the strongest. Like if you don't like them and you decide not to use them, you're robbing yourself of like just a base stat, incredibly strong Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, so Chestnut, grass and fighting just didn't work out well. Like,
it looks lame.
It kind of looks lame. Delphox is the even more.
Delphox could have been way better.
Yeah, they fucked up. I mean, first off, why did they they already have Vulpix? Like they didn't need to make a Firefox starter. Like that's kind of weird. I get that it's like a different type of fox.
It's a different type of fox. It's more like a Kitsune kind of.
Yeah,
but
there's like a fennec fox in real life is different than like a red fox or whatever. But
yes.
But the evolutions are they always like go. They take something that walks on four legs and make it bipedal, and they like kind of fucked it up doing that. Imagine if it just got like a cooler version of a four-legged thing.
Well, for me, it's like. Yeah, Pat, I'm with you. Stop taking things off their four legs. Right?
I don't need something that looks like a person. I don't fuck with the humanoid Pokemon.
I feel you.
That shit's never gonna stop, though. Unfortunately,
I know.
What?
And I mean, but there are some that I like.
Going on 2 feet. That's the basis of evolution.
Yeah. they did. I know, right? No, I mean you have a point, but like they did give us, the best bird out ever.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, yeah.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's get into the Pokemon of this generation. There's not much to go into, but there is.
Talonflame, Gale Wings, Talonflame with Brave Bird is one of the most OP combos in the world of Pokemon. Talonflame is also, period. I don't care what anybody says, it's the best bird in the game still. Unless, of course, Sword and Shield has, that's not out yet.
That's a great distinction because there are many birds in this game.
There are many birds in this game, but Talonflame is king.
Sorry, Staraptor.
Birds. Yeah, king of all birds. They fucked up, but then there's things that they just absolutely just pyroar.
Yeah, we've been wanting a lion for so damn long.
Oh my gosh, dude! And then there's things that I just absolutely fell in love with. Furfrou. Esper, I thought Esper was cute as fuck. I feel like Esper was what they wanted to do. Like they wanted Esper to be as big as Mimikyu, and it fell flat a little bit. But social media was all over Esper, and it's like dead face and all that cute shit. And they also gave us the most controversial Pokemon that we've had in a long time, and that's Aegislash.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about just do a quick aside because you're more into the competitive environment than I would say the rest of us in this generation. But in terms of Pokemon who are meta relevant, what would you say are like the top 3 choices of this generation?
Klefki,
yeah.
Talonflame, definitely. Goodra ended up getting some good weight, pure dragon. But obviously the fairies did come into
came in this gen.
They came in this gen swinging. So like dragons did lose some depth, but Goodra ended up still having some solid work. Furfrou ended up getting Cotton Guard, and I seen it used a lot. And then of course Aegislash is the king of competitive as far as this generation is concerned.
Aegislash with its ability, battle form,
defense
form.
It's just too good. It has like legendary type stats. Yeah.
It's a lot. Pat, any particular Pokemon you preferred in this generation?
I've been and am kind of. I don't love anybody, but I mean, I didn't have the competitive aspect that Jeff has to liking or disliking some Pokemon. I like Pancham, the panda. I don't. He's kind of just a remake of the Ice Bear from
Gen 5.
He definitely is.
Beartic.
Yeah, so that for that reason, I don't like the evolution as much. But I also like. I like the T-Rex, Tyrantrum.
Yeah, wish it was better.
Auroras. I don't think they quite landed. I think they could have. I actually think if they'd gone more weird dinosaur themed for this, it would have been overall just a better generation. I don't know exactly why they didn't do that. That it would have given them an excuse to make more than 72 Pokemon without really necessarily retreading on a bunch of stuff. I mean, dinosaurs have feathers, dinosaurs have scales, dinosaurs swim, dinosaurs fly. They could have done so much.
Surprised overall there's not more dinosaurs in the Pokemon game.
Yeah, me too. And they always kind of have danced around the fossil aspect. But who cares? We don't need it to be back in time. Just put them. They're fake animals.
Do we not have a proper Velociraptor?
Yeah, no, we really don't.
We need it. We need it.
Yeah. So for that reason, I like some of those guys, and I like Hawlucha, even though I have said that I don't really like humanoid Pokemon. I kind of like how gimmicky he is.
I love that Ash had him.
Yeah. And but I don't know. I kind of like
I like
somebody else.
Who did I like in this game? I liked. God, there's not much considering I just went from top to bottom. I was like, ooh, okay. I have a thing for Heliolisk.
You didn't like Carbink?
Carbink? Oh, actually, I did like
Carbink. Was cute as fuck.
I hate Carbink.
I did it because
Dansy, though. So
I'm a troll. That's why I like Carbink, because you know what? After this gen, considering I didn't buy the game, I would just show up on Pokemon Showdown and just all right, let's see.
Carbink, best defensive Pokemon in here.
Yeah, it is. It's really, and it's a fairy type and a rock type.
It had a cool typing.
Fairy types are new. You don't completely know what they're weak to, which is and then when you find out what they're weak to, you're like, huh?
And the thing is, as far as fairy, they went all out, but they went a little too hard.
Fairy just knocks out dragons. That's what its purpose is. I mean, the fact that it's weak against steel and poison, it's but there are no real strong offensive steel and or poison types.
And that's why in Sun and Moon, poison kind of came up. Toxapex and all that shit. They started to really come to life, because I think they had realized how how overpowered they made fairies ultimately. So I wouldn't be thinking about that. I was like, from what I read, guys, and I gotta tell you this, I don't know if this is it may disappoint you guys, but apparently there's no evolution in Sword and Shield.
Whatever.
Which is fine.
I can't keep track of them at this point.
I know, but I would love a nice ghost or poison Eevee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That would be incredible.
They're not using a chance to try to make a real another flagship one.
Yeah. Instead they're oh, here's a fucking giant Eevee with big hair. I'm okay.
All right, you don't want no UK Eevee, little UK flavor to it.
If they gave me a UK Eevee, that would be awesome.
I will get it though, because I bought Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, so you get them for that. But.
No, now you have a giant Eevee. So.
Now I have a giant Eevee.
So there you go.
I'm kicking y'all's ass with my giant Eevee.
That's how we get in this game. Let's talk about the Megas. The Megas are front and center by far, the biggest attraction to this game. Favorite Mega thus far, and we're going to talk about the one. You guys go first in general, because whether they're introduced in this game or Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, it doesn't really matter. Mega Metagross looks fucking amazing.
Mega Metagross was amazing.
Meta Lucario, also a
beautiful.
Just
I didn't mention any as far as competitive, because they're obviously, most of them are all mostly competitive.
There's a lot of people.
You know what
I don't remember.
Mega Gardevoir looks like the fucking same.
Yeah, a little bit. Her dress got a little bigger.
Yeah.
for me, so
Talk about it.
So look, I've been obsessed with Mewtwo Y since I saw the design. I just think it's like one of the most perfect designs to me. I've always loved it. I don't know why. It's just a thing.
It's a way they should have just done that. They didn't. I don't like when they do the dual, like
now
one
listen,
region
though.
gets one.
Listen though, Mewtwo X is stupid good. Like it's completely broken because of the fighting, because it gets fucking drain punch, and like dealing with that shit was awful. But Mega Gyarados, very cool. Mega Gengar, very cool. Obviously,
Mega Gengar is my entry for best one.
Mega Kangaskhan
Just in design.
is extremely broken.
Yeah, Mega
a lot of
Kangaskhan
people used it.
talk about. Yeah.
Well, they gave him a Cell Junior.
Yeah.
I love the way Mega Mawile looks. I think it's an amazing design.
I agree. I think
and then I guess yes, Ruby Sapphire is a little later, but Mega Beedrill is very underrated too.
Let's just talk about all of them right now because
absolutely. Mega Beedrill, amazing Pokemon as far as competitive. I love Sableye. Gets the big
Mega Sableye is cool.
There are some that I didn't remember existed. I
forgot all about Salamence.
I was like, oh, Salamence, we got that. Oh, Mega Glalie, what did it do to deserve that?
Yeah, I know, right?
Some of these are man. Looking at these, it's like, why did they make the big fucking Pokemon? They should have just kept doing this.
The king of Megas is Rayquaza, though, as far as Jeff's concerned.
Yes, well, yes.
But some of these are just absolutely stupid. Like
Mega Ampharos,
don't need it.
New bundles.
Well, yeah, Ampharos, Mega Ampharos ended up not being as good as people thought, but it did get the Fairy Dragon.
Yeah, it's just Dragon. Yeah,
no, it's electric. Fairy Dragon.
No,
Fairy Dragon.
I thought it was Electric Dragon.
Bulbapedia says it's Electric Dragon.
Altaria. Oh, I'm talking about Altaria.
Altaria. Oh yeah, Altaria.
I'm thinking about Altaria.
That also
Meelz. Let me ask you though, Latios. How did you feel about the Megas? Because I know you love them just generally.
I like how it looked, but I didn't like that I can't tell the difference between.
Yeah,
I mean, they're still Dragon Psychic, and also I was very disappointed that they decided to not
pick
get
the same color.
No, why the fuck did Frostlass not get a Mega and they gave it to fucking
Glalie? Because Frostlass is cool and Glalie needs something.
But it stayed ice. It got refrigerate as an ability, but it stayed ice.
I think Glalie is just. It's obviously the redheaded stepchild of this entire thing once they release Frostlass.
The last one I want to really talk about is I think one of the better legend. I mean, we obviously know Charizard and X and Y Charizard Mega, which they are really good, but Sceptile's Mega is one of the best as well. Because it got Lightning Rod.
Yeah, Sceptile is very cool. Grass and Dragon. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Let's see what else that we got here.
Pidgeot was awful. Stayed normal flyings. Like that was an opportunity for them to like embrace Pidgeot and its like legendariness of being like one of the first birds that we knew, and they just kind of like
Mega Blaziken is too damn. Mega Blaziken is like too OP in my gen. With the speed boost ability, it's ridiculous.
It's stupid. A speed boost after, and people used it.
Yeah,
and it will kick your ass if you let it.
100%.
Fastest Pokemon in the game at that point.
Let's get through these legendaries real quick because there's not really much to talk about.
They're so lame.
The fewest amount of legendaries in generations thus far, which I'm not mad at. Why not? I mean, we've got like 1 million of them at this point.
They probably wanted to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, so we've got 3 new legendaries in this game. That is Xerneas, which is I guess a deer or
some type of fucking fairy deer
or something. I guess which horns that look similar to an X.
I'm not allowing any Zygarde disrespect though.
I like Zygarde.
I'm not allowing it.
Ivital, who looks like a Y, dark. They're called the Aura Trio. Yeah, I know, right? Who would have thought? And then Zygarde, who doesn't resemble a Z in any way, but still
it does resemble a Z.
Kind of
from the side. From the side,
I guess.
On the side. Listen,
maybe Zygarde, the Z is the Pokemon we met along the way.
Okay. But listen, Zygarde. to me, they should have stopped right at the dog form. That dog form is so fucking dope, dude.
So the fact that this continued in the Sun and Moon, and now this like a rather it being a something that continued in like Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire is the fact that this legendary continued. The lore of it continues in Sun and Moon.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's talk about it now because I'm not gonna remember by the
No,
time.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, the dog was cool.
The dog form was so cool to me. Visually, I think it was just a really cool design. And
it's such a bizarre thing that they did.
I know, but then well, you want what's more bizarre is they were like, okay, let's turn this thing into a fucking Megazord.
Yeah. And that's pretty much essentially what it is.
That's what it is.
Inside the motherfucker and do all this. The Zygarde cell thing.
Annoying.
It's just annoying. We'll talk about it a little bit more in Sun and Moon. But the fact that was introduced and made a thing is once again very annoying.
I see the words like Zygarde Cube, and I'm like, that's when I'm playing the game, my eyes start to roll back in my head. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I don't care. Yeah. Stop with the dialogue.
I agree.
His purpose is cool though. He has a cool purpose. Like he keeps things steady as far as the ecosystem is.
Yeah. I think he's one of the best Pokemon from this generation.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just like the actual way she whatever is used in the game itself. It's just like by this time they're doing so much hand holding in the game that the cool stuff they try to introduce is just feels tedious.
Yeah.
The mythicals, we got Diancie, which was Mega Diancie. They did an interesting thing where they decided we're going to stagger the releases of the mythical Pokemon, but immediately after the game was bought and people hacked into it, they found out that
other things.
Yeah, they found out there's other mythicals and they haven't been released yet. So we saw Volcanion and Hoopa pretty early.
Love Volcanion. I think
fire water type to me.
It's a steam Pokemon, which is it's perfect. It's cool.
It's perfect. I feel
it's not good though, unfortunately.
No, because the fire. I think we've all dreamt of a fire water type. It's like that would be cool one day, and then like 10 years, 15 years later, after we thought about it, they finally introduced one, and it's like, oh well, yeah. Now it just.
I loved Hoopa though. I loved Hoopa all around. I like the movie too. I liked Hoopa more after the movie.
I have not seen the movie for any of these things, but apparently these are essentially just where the Pokemon. You'll only get any information about these Pokemon just by watching these movies.
Well, Hoopa's important because you realize where all these fucking legends come from so fast. Like Hoopa's rings are used to transport. Like legendaries were using his rings to transport to different dimensions and different locations.
Huh.
Yeah,
you
should watch the movie, Meelz. Like it's actually pretty good. Like
that's a nice little plot. That's a nice little plot thing.
Yeah,
I'll watch it.
You should watch it. You really should. He like
mythology
literally
deep.
He brings like all these legends into this one world to stop. I forget who he stopped, but yeah, it's cool. You should check it out.
Speaking of the lore and the mythical and all the other cool stuff of this gen, we have one thing to talk about, and that is the story of this generation. X and Y. Team Flare. Yeah. Team Flare, not the best, but actually might be the worst.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right, and therefore the story is pretty bad.
The story is pretty bad. Their entire first of all, the look of them is terrible.
Yeah, extremely bad.
White suits, red hair, not a good look. And then you get to the big boss Lysander, who I think introduced in the beginning of this game wasn't supposed to look like a villain, but how could he not look like a villain?
Exactly.
With the giant red hair.
I only like the end of this story with AZ. That's really the only thing I care about.
So I'm going to fast forward and just kind of tell the story. So Team Flare is a villainous organization made to support Lysander's goals of creating a beautiful new world in his image. He discovered a weapon created by the king of Kalos 3,000 years ago, and he wants to revive it to really create his entire world and pretty much just destroy everything, which is kind of like, wow, that's like hard body. Yeah. So he wants to, the previous holder of this, and oh my God. You know what? I'll just do the story of AZ later. He wants to do this. He takes all the power from Lumio City. That's why there's a blackout for more than half of the game. And he also needs, guess what? The legendaries, of course. Because the power of the legendaries is always used for evil as opposed to just being used for anything else. So you attempt to thwart his plans. You eventually kind of do. You have to catch the legendary in order to stop the weapon, but he still manages to push the button anyway. Mm-hmm. And then the thing launches, and then it just buries the weapon, and then everyone's defeated, and that's kind of how it ends. I'm sure there's more stuff, and I'm sure
it's very sad.
And I'm sure I'm not doing it justice, but
it's okay. It's okay. Like it's not that exciting for you. Like it's not a story that you want to like go through and talk about because it's one of the more sadder endings that like I've experienced in Pokemon. So like it's one of those things you just gotta like see that shit because there's a huge cutscene. They do like a big cutscene and
one of the biggest ever.
They show pieces of like the war, and you're like,
so yeah, the story of AZ and the war. So let me get into that a little bit of a story. So
it's the best part, and that's it. Like after that,
3,000 years ago, there was a man with a Pokemon, and etc. etc. God, I should read the entire transcript. No, I'm not going to do that. The story of AZ. Essentially, AZ was a king 3,000 years ago who witnessed a war between Pokemon. It was the War of Kalos that ended up bringing destruction to a lot of things, including the Pokemon that he had who was enlisted in this war, which was a Floette.
Yeah. Well, that you never get to catch.
You never get to catch or never get to hold or never get to anything, whatever. So this Floette end up being killed in battle, and then AZ is eventually given its coffin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's just like, I can't believe that this war has brought, all these other things. So he builds this massive machine, this completely large machine to revive this little Pokemon. It's actually not that big, but he builds this massive machine that looks like a flower. It looks like an X and or Y, depending on the game that you have, because branding. He builds this massive machine and successfully revives the Pokemon, and they are reunited once again. But the sheer disdain and redemption that all this brought, this destruction, has not left his heart. So he turns the machine used to revive it into a giant weapon, and he shoots it. And they have to use the life force of all Pokemon in order to thing this weapon. And he kills so many Pokemon in the thing of building this weapon. He shoots it up into the sky, and it comes down and it destroys everything. The war's over. Kalos is pretty much close to destroyed. I guess maybe that's why it looks like a starfish. But Kalos is essentially destroyed. But the Pokemon that he once revived felt guilty because of all the Pokemon that had to die in order to use it, and it just leaves him. Yeah. So now this king, AZ, who was about 10 feet tall, spends 3,000 years trying to search for this Pokemon. He has moved on from being a king, and now he is a giant homeless person. Yeah. He spent 3,000 years. He gets eventually he bumps into Lysander, who Lysander locks him up because he has the key to this giant weapon, the ultimate weapon, as they call it, which I didn't like. The ultimate weapon, come on. Holocasters, I don't know.
Hey man, this was the most like above for kids that we got. Like some of these things, some of this stuff was like I was reading this shit, and I'm like, a fucking 8-year-old may be freaked out by this type of shit. Like
the war thing is where it's kind of like, oh wow,
war
Pokemon were fighting in a deadly war with each other.
War and Pokemon is from red, blue, and yellow. Like this shit's been like this. It's just they never want to talk about it. The reason why that Kanto is so fucked up is because of a war. Why it's so like behind in times. I mean, if you can talk to Lieutenant Surge, he'll tell you all about it.
No, oh great. Oh my God!
He was in the war.
Conspiracy corner with Jeff.
Hey man, I know all about that shit, bro. That shit's crazy. Like, there's a war before all that shit.
So we see AZ, and then AZ eventually is freed from jail. You free him, and he's like, "Thank you," and I'm going to go search for my Pokemon, type of thing. And then fast forward, you beat the game. There's a parade for you. It's awfully nice. And then AZ shows up after you beat the champion. Is like, I need to battle you.
Yeah.
He battles you, and you beat his ass, and he's like, I can finally smile again, and my heart is finally filled from you, knowing that there's a champion that I can trust. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the Pokemon shows up, and he's like, oh my God, yes, I was just waiting for your heart to be full and just not full of redemption and evil again. And they're reunited, and it's you know, the memes, it's 3,000 years type of thing, and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how I feel about the story, to be honest with you.
The ending, like I said, ultimately, I did like the ending because it was a bit emotional. But other than that, I didn't really care for the come up for it. Even that battle was underwhelming. I think he had like a Torque Oil and like a Golurk and
something else. It's
something
just
else.
nothing. Yeah, nothing really.
They were all like level 60 or 70, but like he wasn't hard to beat. He just had like these old ass type of Pokemon. You're just like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's so Team Flare, not our favorite villains. Actually, probably the worst villains in this game. The story of AZ, I don't like how they kind of crammed it to the end. I felt like, I don't know, there should have been.
His story is better in Generations.
Oh yeah. That little if you watch it, it's on YouTube. Search Pokemon Generations, the redemption episode. They have this sort of whole story, and they have a nice little young lady telling it, and all the other stuff like that. And you get to see pretty much everything you see in X and Y, but in anime format. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I wasn't in love with the story. That's really why I didn't like this game. It's the story. The story makes it or breaks it for me.
He was apparently supposed to have a Mega Heracross. They had him tied to Mega Heracross at some point, and then they pulled back on it.
Oh, it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
AZ is just, I mean, he could have been someone who was just like, I think, what was it? I think him and Mega should have been a little bit more linked. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Something with Megas and their kind of lore have just been like, okay, the Megas are from the energy that are from the legendary Pokemon. I was like, but are they really? Like, something could have been done a little bit more with Megas in terms of telling that story, as opposed to you get this generation and Megas are just a thing where they weren't in any other generation, and there's no. But you know, you got to start somewhere.
Also, like, how is this guy over 3,000 years old?
I think so. Here's my.
And he's 9'3".
He used the same, because the Floette is immortal, so I'm assuming he used the same energy or that energy from that machine as well on himself.
Thanks,
people with like freakishly large bodies supposed to die fast?
Yeah, he's like 9'3". Literally, he's like 9'3". Yeah,
I think he's immortal. Nonetheless, story not that great, but if you like it, congratulations. Yeah.
No, dude. I mean, we could, at the end of the day, like, we can appeal, we can say what we want to say, but you know, the game did well from like a critically acclaimed standpoint.
Oh yeah. I think
I do think a lot of that came from the changes of the actual game. Yeah, the look, the changes, Megas. I don't know if it was. I don't know. Are people reviewing Pokemon games for their story?
I don't know,
because these games come out and they usually do pretty good.
How else they would review it? Legitimately nothing. I mean, the mechanics change, but the general flow of the entire story doesn't. And
Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire got one of the lowest ratings that I have seen a Pokemon game get, and still went on to do what it did. But like, it's
the remake of the possibly one of my least favorite.
Right.
But you know what? It's unfortunate. We'll talk about Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire in just a few minutes. Let's talk about little things in this gen. So we have the Professor Sycamore, kind of like, you know, give or take, whatever.
He's cool. No, I don't have no problem against Sycamore.
Yeah, one of the better ones, which is not really saying anything, but
rivals, friends. You got Serena, Shauna, Tierno, and Trevor. A group of friends, no rivals, just people who also like Pokemon, and or maybe good and or not good at them.
Give me the rivals. Where are the criminals?
Well, I think rivals come back and Sword and Shields, like actual, like legitimate rivals. So
yeah, I mean, how you guys feel about Elite Four in this game?
Whew, all right, forget about it. I forgot about it. I know Malva from the anime.
Yeah, Malva had Talonflame and Chandelure.
Yeah, I know Malva from the anime. The worst part of it was giving them 4 Pokemon each.
Except for the champion. She had 6, but
giving them 4.
She wasn't hard though.
My one man had a suit of armor.
Yeah, Wickstrom.
Oh yeah, he had a fucking Klefki and like a Sizer and Aegislash. That was the worst thing he had to get through was Aegislash.
Giving Elite Four. Yes, I know their name is Elite Four, but goddamn, give them 6 Pokemon. Like, come on, they're champions at this point.
They're champions. Yeah, make this shit tough.
Yeah, they're reputable. Like, give them 4.
Also, I had like somebody call me, like somebody from Game Freeze call me, because I feel like the Elite Four should be, if anything, Elite Four and gyms should be the only thing that you turn on and you feel some type of competitive shit. You know, like they should program these NPCs to be competitive. I mean, it's your final stretch to become champion.
You think they should like automatically scale?
Yeah, bro. I do. I feel like if you're gonna go against this, they're gonna be they're level 65. At that point in the game, I mean, you're already over that. You got some 70s and you're solid. You're ready to go. You're not worried about that. You got a bunch of max revives. You got a bunch of hyper potions. You know what you're going into.
But again, Jeff, you're asking for them to make the game like way harder, and I want them to do the same thing, but they don't want to do it.
It's like just a little bit, bro. Even if the champion is just frustrating, like if the champion just keeps beating me, and I'm like, all right, at least this bitch is killing me, like, you know. But like, yo,
the champion is not hard in this game.
It's not. The hardest thing about dealing with what's Diantha? Yeah, the hardest thing was she's don't even get me started. The fact that she's the only one who had a fucking mega Pokemon in the
that was fleet. So whack.
You're telling me in the Elite Four, only the champion had a mega. Every single one of them should add a mega, especially because you announced them in this gen. So you would think that every single one of them would have one, and that would make your time more difficult. I don't know. Like, it's just little silly things about it. Oh, none of these Pokemon hold items. It's like, just at least give them an item. So you run into one mountain, and you're like, damn, this fucking Pokemon has Life Orb or whatever, and he's hurting you more or whatever. Just something.
There was not really a big level jump either between the regular Elite Four and the champion.
No, bro, her strongest Pokemon was Gardevoir, and it was like 68.
Which again, for Gardevoir to be I like Gardevoir a lot. I think everybody here actually likes Gardevoir a lot. But for that to be the final Mega that you have to face, no.
No, I'm talking about give some of these Pokemon that they have a hidden ability that frustrates you. Give them a Mega for each one. I don't know, man. Just something. Something actually better.
I will say, Diantha. Is that how you Diantha? Diantha. Yeah, her lineup actually, like, it has, because it has Hawlucha and then like basically three. I'll count Gudra as one, like three like dinosaurs kind of. Mm-hmm. And then like overall her lineup I think hits the, like, if this lineup were indicative of the entire game, I think it would be pretty good. But then you pull back and it's not. But
bro,
this is good.
First of all, the first Malva fire type, then steel, then dragon, then water. I mean, these, you can blaze through these guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
that's another issue for me. I feel like, and again, I don't know, maybe some people wouldn't like this, but I would like if the Elite Four was all random, as far as like variety and what you're facing. Like they should be super competitive all around.
So here's my
make you want to switch your Pokemon up.
The strategy it would be cool if each trainer's strategy weren't based in type.
That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking.
That's like, I've like, what do we call a fantasy book? That's what I've been like.
Like gyms, that's fine. If you want to have a fire gym, I get that. But like when you get to the Elite Four and you got real shit going on, like give me.
I've always been like
fire, then a ghost, then an electric or something.
What if there was like an Elite Four of like a person who just like really strong Pokemon, like muscly shit, and you had like a Snorlax and like
you
champ,
mean visual, like physical,
or it could be anything. Like my gimmick is heavies. Like I have a heavy Pokemon.
Yeah,
or something along those lines, or like
Pokemon who all have crazy abilities, or like unique abilities, or
like one person has a special like high IQ, and it's just like, not that I'm not just using just psychic types, but I'm using all types of things that will just like mess you up.
Or wouldn't you hate going against a Pokemon who has a whole bunch of Pokemon who has stability? Recover or leech life, shit like that, and you got to drain punch, and you got to deal with that for.
I would say more so. I mean, just like us in this game, where you kind of develop our teams based on just our personality of who they are. I mean, it would be great if the Elite Four did that as well.
Absolutely.
So and I think it would become a lot more. People would be a lot more memorable in the game. Elite Four. The gym leaders are cool in this gen. I have nothing against the gym leaders.
Me either. The gyms were beautiful too.
Yeah, the gyms are fantastic. Gyms are fantastic. I would I had to go through several things to remember this gym leader. I watched the anime to remember these gym leaders. I watched streams on YouTube to try to remember these gym leaders. Apparently everyone talks in their stream, which I don't like, but it is what it is. I guess shout out to like Shofu and the people who do that.
I think they have to.
Yeah, I mean, yes, at this point they have to, yes.
For like copyright purposes.
Yeah, or else they get pulled.
Yeah.
God, you know what? Let's speed through. Let's talk about, I mean, the new features in X and Y really, really quickly. The 3D compatibility, transportation. You can now like roller skate and or ride on Pokemon, which is the thing. Player search system, interesting. Didn't really use that, but also I didn't really have the game. So, Pokemon Ami. What is? Were you guys petting it?
I only did it for Sylveon, for Eevee and Sylveon, I believe.
I used this, like whatever this turned into in the next game, like with the brush and stuff.
Yeah,
I used that more than whatever this was. That was this one?
I think that was Ruby Sapphire, I think.
Okay, yes.
I think. Like when it's a little bit more extensive.
Yeah, and you could do like different things on the screen.
Yeah, you could do a lot of different things. No, I think, you know what? I think it was also like Sun and Moon. You could like wipe off the Pokemon and stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, Sun and Moon. Okay, yeah.
We also had Sky Battles. I mean, what else did we got here? Horde encounters. Horde encounters weren't bad.
Horde encounters was important if you wanted to potentially find a shiny, or if you wanted to potentially get a Pokemon with that ability.
Was that Horde? Now, this ends up becoming the same thing as what was that call out thing in Sun and Moon, right?
Yeah, it ended up being the same shit.
Okay, all right. So yeah, super training. If you're competitive, you definitely showed up to super training. And I think they need to continue to release new and not as a.
Yeah, that's not going to stop making playing competitive easier for everyone.
Yeah, because hatching a million eggs is not the wave right now. Trainer customizations, blah blah blah, da. Okay, Mega Evolution. Okay, we're done with this. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I like this game. It was released on November 1st, 2014. I like this game because it made me like Ruby and Sapphire a little bit more, and I did not like those games.
Agree.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm all for fixing your mistakes, and especially when it comes to like this type of thing. It's one of the things that they got right. You know, it's like they could have remade this game, and we still would be having the same conversation as if, damn, I really didn't want to play this because it's just too much water, too much this, too much that. But I think they did okay. I think they did just enough. You know, Kyogre and Groudon, like they're
primal reversion story.
That's fun. You know, I didn't hate it.
Let's see the soaring thing. I mean, soaring over towns and finding random things in the sky, that wasn't too bad. Let's see what we got here. Abilities contest. Yeah, I think overall Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire were incredible additions to the actual, like, incredible in terms of a remake. This is like fantastic. And if they were make me change my just the way I thought about this game completely.
They do this shit all the time. You know, it's like X and Y. We look at it, we're like, oh, well, you know, we didn't have a great time with it. But then they took the great things about X and Y, and then they took the things that they were missing, and then they put it in, you know, Ruby Sapphire.
Yeah, right. And the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire is significantly better than the originals.
Yeah. And then that same thing, I think they're doing the same thing with Sword and Shield, you know, with Pokemon Let's Go.
There's a lot more post game to it. There's a lot more. It's just so many different things. Yeah, this did not get the best grades, huh? I don't know why Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. This was a really good and anticipated game as well. I mean, I was anticipating. There's so many hints in X and Y that this game is coming.
Yeah.
People, I'm gonna tell you. I remember the talk around this game and what people were kind of like on edge about was the fact that they wanted the next gen immediately because X and Y was so short.
Yeah.
And people were kind of like, oh, so you're just gonna give us a remake, you know? And that was that energy, like, oh, it's a remake, you know. But at the end of the day, you know what they're getting done. The issue is after this remake, of course, you know what we got.
Yeah. We got Sun and Moon.
We got Sun and Moon.
And then they doubled down by just
and they doubled down. And then after that game, which was not fun at all,
we got Let's Go.
We got Let's Go. And so and that's why Sword and Shield is such a big deal, and that's why we're on their heads about it, because you're like, okay, you guys have been making these games that are, you know, they're obviously fun for like the regular player, you know, but we want you to make that jam-packed, give us everything we're asked for type of game. And so I think that's what everybody's hoping for with this next one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think this game was fine. I think Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was fine.
Yeah.
As overall speaking from the Gen 6 experience, there's so much important things in this generation, but also there's so much, like, especially when you consider megas, which are important, but also like it's a gimmick. And I think this generation really started the idea of the gimmick. Like, we're using the gimmick to sell the game.
Yeah. After that, we got
Alolens,
and then we got
we have the Gigantamax Dynamax kind of deal.
Let's not forget, are these Pokemon or not?
Ultra Beast,
yeah. So
Ultra
like
Beast.
These are all things. And Meelz, Pat, me and Meelz were talking the other day about, like, we are extremely surprised that fusion hasn't became a thing.
I feel like it's such a slippery slope that they're scared of approaching it.
Dude, I think I feel the same way you're saying, but like, the fuck, why give us Giant? Like, I feel like Giant is risky as well.
I feel like Giant is stupid.
I rather give a very excluded amount of fusion situations than fucking Giant Pokemon, because at least I know fusion, we're gonna get some really fucking cool looking designs. You know what I mean? Like that. Like I'm convinced about what if they were like, hey, let's fuse Pikachu with Mimikyu, or, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
here's the you're only gonna be able to fuse, like, I think you're gonna get. Yeah, you're going to only be able to fuse a certain amount of Pokemon, and people are going to get pissed that their favorites can't be fused. They're like, oh, my God.
We have to get over that, though. It's the same thing as, like, why isn't this Pokemon going to be in this game? And it's just like, dude, there's just some things. Like, this game isn't about just you.
Yeah, 100%.
There's an overall scale that they have to continue to you know, keep right.
Gen 6, just notable for what it's introduced. There's a couple Pokemon that you... but it's the beginning of something that would continue, and you know, if you didn't enjoy this game, you went through a long drought. I mean, I'm still waiting because I didn't enjoy this game. I didn't enjoy the last game as much as I would like to, even though I thought it was beautiful. And so much more. But I think they have the thing is like, when you look at beautiful games, and this is why we're so, like, we're not that we're suspicious of Sword and Shield, but it's like we're still not completely sold on it, even though I do want to play it, because
of course
this game, I mean, Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, and they're, you know, they're gonna make beautiful games. Like the games are gonna be beautiful. That's not always it, though.
The games are gonna sell. The games are gonna be beautiful. We know this.
The mechanics, the story, everything that sort of fills up, and sort of how they balance everything is kind of really what the fans really wanted. Because as beautiful as this game is, in X and Y, the Kalos region, there's so many different original things, and you got that tower in the center, and you got all these other different caves, and et cetera, et cetera. All that didn't amount to anything when you think about it at the end, because one, no one remembers it, and then two, no one cares about it anymore. So it's kind of like, we can make the prettiest game on earth, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't provide us, and, you know, we are selfish in a sense because we all want these certain things in life, but if it ultimately doesn't provide the fulfillment that we want from a Pokemon game that we've gotten when we've got Heart and Gold, Soul Silver, when we got, you know, depending on how you feel about the first generations or the fourth generations or the third generations, there really hasn't been that generation in quite some time that's given us that sort of fulfillment that we wanted. So we're inching closer to Sword and Shield. We're less than a month away. We've got one more episode before we eventually, I don't think we shouldn't do a preview episode. Once we get the game, we'll link back up.
Have some fun.
And we'll have a talk about the game. So the next episode is definitely going to be about Gen 7. The Lowland region, Sun and Moon. Lots of controversial thoughts about that game. So we're going to talk about that.
I like that Pokédex, and I'm going to talk about that when we get to it. But I didn't care for the game, so
we're going to talk about that, and then we're probably going to do our last preview on that episode before Sword and Shield, and then the game will be out, and then we'll come right back around with, I guess, our review or our take or how we feel about the game.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to make Meelz and Pat watch the new anime.
You know what we need to do? We need to make Pat play Pokemon Go.
I don't.
That's what we need.
I have no
to
idea.
do.
I have no idea, Pat. I really have no idea how you don't. Like, I feel like it's perfect for you. Like, I really do. Like, I don't know why, but I just feel like you
need to get Pat into Pokemon, and I say that because it's a fun. We're gonna get into it, but it's a fun game, Pat.
I just never did it. I don't know.
It's the most consistent, fun Pokemon game that that doesn't have a lot of flaws. Like, it's
real time, real world events. I mean, there's some flaws, but nothing you're really gonna like.
Nothing that like kills the game for you, though.
And it's consistently for me over the last 2 years. It's been the most consistent Pokemon game that I played, and I have owned them all, except Let's Go. But Let's Go is based on Go, so
Let's Go is fun too. But it's a fun, like, you need to just go into it like, okay, I'm just here to play a remake of Yellow.
Yeah. It's like very low stakes.
Yeah, very low stakes. But it's fun to play.
But even if it's just for a week,
yeah, I'll check it out just so I can actually like talk about it.
Yeah, even if it's just for a week, you can see, because I would rather you're a set of fresh eyes, and we've been playing the game since it came out.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So you're a set of fresh eyes. So even if we do that, maybe we'll do a Go episode later on down the line. But even just for a week, I know it's getting cold. And then over on your side, I don't know, is it getting cold?
No, it's good. September and October are the hottest months of the year. So let me. I think it's going to be like 82 today.
Yeah, for us, it's getting cold over here on this side.
Here's the thing: after like 5 p.m., when it gets dark, it immediately becomes extremely cold. Let me tell you, if it's less than 70 degrees outside, I do not want to be outside. That's cold to me.
Over here, man.
You don't want to be over here for real.
Yesterday it was 40 and raining all day.
That's basically where we bottom out in like January.
Oh, God.
With that said, this has been episode 7 of the Mount Silver podcast. We've got so many things to talk about, so many things we're looking forward to. Once again, Sword and Shield comes out in less than a month, so make sure you're prepared for that. I'll make sure to get my Switch, and I'll make sure to get my game. And
I'm going to call Nintendo after we hang up.
Please do. But until then, stay subscribed. RNC Radio Live. You can continue to get all the updates on our various shows and all the things like that or sort. And make sure you check out all the old episodes that we talked about, all the other stuff, and tell your friends and share this podcast. Definitely. So we will be back next time, guys. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Peace.